दया करो मोरे, तुम बिन के दयालु जगत संसारे, पतित पावन हेतु तव अवतार, मोसमा पतित प्रभु न पाई ब्यारा, हा प्रभु नित्यानंद प्रेमानंद सुखी, हा प्रभु नित्यानंद प्रेमानंद सुखी, कृपावलोकन करो हमें बड़ दुखी, दया करो सीतापति अद्वैत गोसाई, दया करो सीतापति अद्वैत गोसाई, तव कृपा बले पाई चैतन्य निताई, गुरु प्रेममय तनु पंडित गदाधर, गुरु प्रेममय तनु पंडित गदाधर, श्रीनिवास हरिदास दया रसागर, हा स्वरूप सनातन रूप रघुनाथ, हा स्वरूप सनातन रूप रघुनाथ, भट्ट जुग श्री जीवा प्रभु लोकनाथ, दया करो श्री आचार्य प्रभु श्रीनिवास, दया करो श्री आचार्य प्रभु श्रीनिवास, रामचंद्र संग मांगे नरोत्तम दास, श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु दया करो मोरे, श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु दया करो मोरे, श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु दया करो मोरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। नरोत्तम दास ठाकुर की जय हो, प्रभुपाद की जय हो। हरे कृष्णा प्रभु जी, थैंक यू फॉर सो वंडरफुल सेवा। हरे कृष्णा, धन्यवाद, प्रणाम टू ऑल डिवोटीज।
Hare Krishna Mataji, that was very nice. Thank you so much. Welcome everyone. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glory to Srila Prabhupada. Welcome back. Can everybody hear me?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yeah, okay. So first we offer our prayers as usual. Om Ajnanatirmirandasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chakshurmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manovistam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan सगणललिता श्रीविशाखावितंश्च हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छा कल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे जय श्री प्रभुपाद Now we offer prayers to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. नमो महावदन्याय कृष्ण प्रेम पदायते कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नामिने गौर तुषे नमः. O most beneficent incarnation of Shri Krishna, you are Krishna himself appearing as Shri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. You have assumed the golden complexion of Srimati Radharani and you are freely distributing and widely distributing pure love of Krishna. We offer respectful obeisances unto you. कृष्ण वर्णम त्रिषा कृष्णम सांगोपांगोस्त्र पार्षदम यज्ञै संकीर्तन प्राये यजन्ति सुमेधसः. In the age of Kali, intelligent persons perform congregational chanting to worship the incarnation of Godhead, who constantly sings the names of Shri Krishna. Although his complexion is not blackish, he is Krishna himself. He is accompanied by his associates, servants, weapons, and confidential companions. Now we address to the six Goswamis of Vrindavan. Nana Sastra Vicharnik Nipunau Shadadharma Samstapakau Loka Nama Hitakarinau Tribhuwane Manyau Sharanya Karau Radha Krishna Padaravinda Bhajana Anandena Mattalikau. I offer my respectful obeisance to the six Goswamis of Vrindavan, named Shri Rupa Goswami, Shri Sanatana Goswami, Shri Raghunath Bhatta Goswami, Shri Raghunath Das Goswami, Shri Jiva Goswami, and Shri Gopal Bhatta Goswami, who are very expert in scrutinizing and studying all the Vedic all the revealed scriptures with the aim of establishing eternal religious principles for the benefit of all human beings. Thus, they are honored all over the three worlds and worth taking shelter of, because they are honored, because they are worth taking shelter of, because they are absorbed in the mood of the gopis and are engaged in the transcendental loving service of Shri Radha and Krishna. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Narom Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udirayat Nashtaprayeshva Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir-bhavati Naistiki. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Jai Shri Prabhupada. Jai Shri Govindam Adi Purusham Tamam Bhajami. Hare Krishna. Welcome back. So, before we begin the class, let's hear the recap of what we covered previous week. Haribol. Are we going to have a recap?
Yes,
Haribol.
Nitya Sakhi Mataji will be doing the recap.
Yes, Prabhuji. Yeah, is screen visible, Prabhuji?
Yes, yes.
Mataji.
Yes. Hare Krishna, Dandat Pranam. To His Grace Charu Prabhuji, Sharad Prabhuji, and all dear devotees. We are going through Sharadarshanam, or the six systems of Vedic philosophy, and we saw lesson 2 last week, and yeah, we'll be proceeding further. So, lesson 2, the highlights were about yoga, Karma Mimamsha, and Vedanta or Uttar Mimamsha philosophy. Yoga, the essential discipline for self realization. So, as per Patanjali Ashtanga Yoga, what is yoga? Ashtanga Yoga, the sensations which are called as vrittis, which are five states of mind, afflictions, and modifications of the mind. Then, how to focus on mind control and surrendering onto the supreme controller, that is Ishvara Pranidhana, the surrender to the Vishesh Purusha. Okay, so it has been highlighted. Then in Karma Mimamsa philosophy, which is close to, which goes near to Vedanta philosophy, as per Karma Mimamsa or Purva Mimamsa philosophy, which is the elevation through the performance of duty. So that is not but ritual, karma rituals, but it is about the Karma Yoga. So Prabhuji in capsule submitted the message and forwarded it. So the focus on ritual, that is duties and dharma, it has been explained. The science of mantra, the chanting, the concept of what are gods and goddesses, that is devas and devis, and the concept of Atman and Paramatman. So it was discussed at great length. After that, Vedanta or Uttar Mimamsa philosophy, the conclusion is the structure and diverse schools of Vedanta philosophy. It has been discussed the nature of God, the personal versus impersonal, then connection between God and Atman, and liberation and the nature of reality and critique of Shardarshanam. So, about yoga. So, what is yoga and Patanjali Yoga Sutra, that is Ashtanga Yoga? So, it was discussed. So, what is yoga? Can anyone
Hare
define?
Krishna Mataji.
Yes, Raju.
Yoga is the unity of supreme consciousness and individual consciousness.
Yeah, yeah. To
To
join, to
link,
be,
to
yeah.
link ourselves to with God.
Yes, yes, Mataji. So as to get connected with Lord, isn't it? So the word
Yes.
yoga, it has been stem like, and it presents a transformative methodology. So Prabhuji highlighted that. So the body transformation, it has been possible through yoga, but also the path goes for the mind control, and so as to elevate ourselves spiritually. So yoga, that is Ashtanga yoga. So it has been prescribed. So the overview and the core principles. Then Patanjali Rishi's yoga philosophy, that how it integrates with Sankhya philosophy, and so can anyone highlight the two keywords as per Sankhya philosophy?
Hare Krishna Mother.
Push.
So,
Yes.
yeah, Sankhya philosophy basically discriminates between Purusha and Prakriti. Purusha is conscious, and you can go through Jiva or Paramatma. Basically, it's Paramatma, and Prakriti is that what is we see that all physically we see that, which is unconscious. So, you know. There are two methods. One is the top-down method, as we understand. Whatever is given, you just follow coming from Vedas and through the scripture. Another is you look around and see what is there and bottom up approach and also come to the conclusion of that. So in that only two things are seen. One is the conscious, unconscious, and second is unconscious. So understanding between these two come to the conclusion of Purusha, or God. That is what is the in brief about. Hare Krishna.
Yes, yes. Thank you, Radha and Prabhuji. Great it was. So, focus on mind control, it has been given. So, yoga places a strong emphasis on mastering the uh, fluctuations of this bewildered mind, so which are called as vrittis, and which is essential for achieving liberation. And Patanjali Yoga Sutra highlights the mind as the critical connection between consciousness and the physical realm, and pinpoints that many of humanity's struggles stem from the mental disturbances. So everyone is worried, and so these vrittis, Prabhuji explained that they do come as a wave in lake having tranquility, and that sereneness gets disturbed. So likewise is also about the mind, and so how it can be controlled. So it can be learned through yoga techniques. So the methodology of inner peace it prescribes for, and yoga categorizes the mind's modifications. So is the next about the nature of mind. Yes, the such a calm mind gets disturbed, isn't it? And is shaped by three gunas, sattva, raja, and tamas, and it influences our state. And Prabhuji said that yes, if one wants to progress in bhakti path, the sattva gun is always better. And the five stages of mind, how bhakti is connected with the mind, because calm mind is required. That is, as per the five states of mind. So Niruddham, no? Yeah, Prabhuji explained that Sampettukshiptam, Mudam, Vikshiptam. So Ekagram and Niruddham they are suggested, and which do promote Sattvaguna, want to be in, can be situated, and yes, can progress on Bhakti path. So the last two, that is Ekagram and Niruddham. So these two states of mind they are favorable for Bhakti. So the five classes of modification, then about clash, afflictions, and how to overcome this modification, it is being explained. So Prabhuji has said that abhinivesh, the fear of death. So Yudhishthir Maharaj example, Prabhuji has given that how Yaksha had asked him the questions, and Yudhishthir Maharaj was the only one who could answer all his questions. So everyone has the clash, dukkha, isn't it? It has been there, and one is always in the mood of it is mine, mineness, it's I myself. Okay, so one is attached to this material vibhutis, and so all they are the sources of suffering, isn't it? So which leads to ahankar and etc. So for that, so as to overcome these impediments, so sickness, incompetence, doubt, and confusion, as we see on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, Arjuna is the most confused person, isn't it? So how his doubts are they were cleared by Bhagavan, isn't it? So it is through abhyas and vairagya one can control and practice this yoga, and one can detach himself or herself. So it is abhyas is a steadfast commitment to maintaining mental stillness and focus. So abhyas yogena, Prabhuji always says every time, and vairagena, that is detachment, the cultivation of non-attachment to external objects and desires. So avidya can be controlled, and abhinivesh, isn't it? So all this, which are the sources of suffering, they can be overcome with this practice, as Prabhuji highlighted. Yes, about chitta. So, chitta does not merely process external information, but it also makes resolve sankalpa and keeps looking for options or vikalpa. So, there are always two states of mind. Many times we do see yes or no. So, one gets confused, like the way Arjuna is here. And so, that's why we could get Bhagavad Gita as our manuals for the life so as to sustain. So this is the reason our mind always keeps desiring things and is never satisfied with just one thing for too long. And so it becomes necessary for us so as to control mind and ego. So it has been as per vritti, Prabhuji explained. So what are the vrittis? What yoga says about?
Vrittis are sensations.
Yeah.
उतार चढ़ाव उसमें वृत्तिस may be of both types, pleasurable vrittis and suffering, the vrittis which give suffering.
Yeah. Yeah. So these
Hare
are the yes, Prabhuji.
Yeah. So this is the essence of everything. I think Charu Prabhuji also previous classes mentioned, and there are more details on that. This is it's always required how to keep the mind steady so that we can go to the gradual process of Ashtanga yoga's step by step ladder and go to the samadhi. So mind is a friend, mind is the enemy, but all that happens and various reasons. Previously we saw that. So any changes, any disturbance that cause it takes away from our meditation, where you want to focus on that. And this Vritti, it can come from any place, any one of the form. Given the whirlpool, circle of motion. It also means distortion, vibration. It is also it's a very nicely explained. It's not always the distraction or miseries that cause that engages the mind. Wherever the mind is engaged, other than the special purushas or through the Lord, that even the good thing that we dwell on, we meditate on that in the mind. Everything is the mind's game there. That also takes distractions from away from the Lord. So that's also a distraction. So vritti is not only one thing; it's anything that happens with the mind, and mind is so much chanchal, right? It doesn't remain in one place. So how to make it steady? This is a big science, and but this is what it talk in greater length. Vritti means that. Right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, even those are the pleasurable moments, or if
Yeah.
one is in misery. Okay, so those feelings, they do disturb the mind. So as we say, so physically, if one wants to go now from here to New York, it may take 24 hours. But for the mind, it just takes the moment. So before the physical appearance, the mind goes there. So it is such a speed of mind, it has been there. So one should be very careful about the mind. So it is the components of Patanjali's eightfold path of yoga, that is Ashtanga yoga. And Prabhuji has nice explained that. So there is nothing to do with this for the first four yoga practices for bhakti, but they do support indirectly the bhakti. So fit to eight. So that is from Pratyahar, Dharana, Dhyan, and Samadhi. Okay, so they do support directly in the path of uh, spirituality. So about niyams, what can be told, as Prabhuji said yesterday, day, last week?
Disciplines, both inner and out, physically, and this inner. That is, maybe one has to observe oneself, all these this physically and innerly, and try to master that waves. Try to bring discipline.
Yeah, so there.
Also, we have to practice absorption.
जो हमें
Mataji.
नियम दिए गए हैं वो उनका बहुत ही अच्छे से पालन करना चाहिए.
Yes.
Absorption is another key thing, Mataji. We have to check ourselves what level of absorption on different things. Yeah, mind is always so distracts from absorption. Yeah, that's very important point which is being discussed. Yeah.
So there are
Outwardly or inwardly, both there should be observations whether we are correct or not.
Yeah, Mother.
Whether we
Normally
are
it is said.
on right path.
yes, rather in Prabhuji.
Yeah, so it is a do's and don't. Always in life, what you have to do and what you should not do. This is indirectly tells us, and it's coming from dharma. It's not that we don't know what needs to be done. Everybody knows what is the good and what should not be, what should be done, what should not be done. But again, focus is more on that keeps away from all the distraction and follow the religiosity. And that defines what is the yam and what is the niyama on that.
Yeah.
So there should be practice, abhyas, whether we are doing right or wrong.
Yeah. So, so those are do's for us, which are
Do's and
given in our parampara. So one should follow those, and one can observe those. And with this, one can attain meditation, dhyana, at the lotus feet of Vishesh Purusha, that is Lord Krishna, and then can enter in samadhi. As we see, His Grace Charu Prabhuji, 18 to 20 hours in a day, he is busy in making these presentations, reading the Shastra and things that. So this dose has to be given to my devotees. So, so it, yeah, it has been called as samadhi. He's completely absorbed. You see. So in modern days, also in Kali Yuga, even if it's there, okay. So we can see the devotees like Charu Prabhuji, Sharad Prabhuji. Um, and they do mentor us so that we can get spiritually absorbed. So, so this is what is the strength of yoga. So these are the ethical principle. Prabhuji said, tapa satyam, and uh, so these are the few principles, Brahmins of which ahimsa, satya, asteya, brahmacharya, aparigraha, Brahmins of which the don'ts are there. uh, do's there, that is tapa, satyam, shaucha, and ishvara pranidan. So as per to know, karma mimamsha, surrender to God, that is ishvara pranidan. So it was highlighted, and with abhyasena, that is swadhyay, it has been possible. And yes, so these are the shlokas and Vyasa's exposition. So day before yesterday, I came to know very nice this thing, that the circle is there, and there is diameter inside, isn't it? And through that diameter, that particular diameter that goes through the center of the circle, and so it is said that Vyasdev also goes through our Hriday Granthi, and so knows everything. And so one should not take Vyasdev so lightly. So it was such a nice exposition. I came to know about Sri Vyasdev also, and it is as per Sutra, and yes, about the nature of God and Vishesh Purusha. As per Sankhya Yoga, as we know, Vishesh Purusha is Lord Krishna, and one can get, the practitioner can get self-realized and can attain the inner peace of mind. So, as Karma Mimamsa philosophy, the word karma and Mimamsa means what? And what is Karma Mimamsa?
Hare Krishna Mataji. Karma means any action which has results, a reaction in results. And Mimamsa is to analyze that karma, whether it is good or bad. That is karma Mimamsa.
Yes. Yes, Rajkumar Mataji, great. Yeah, it was been said that karma is any action and mimamsa means inquiry. So every karma has got, as we know, every action has got equal and opposite reaction. So every karma's fruits, results, they will bounce back. So whether those are good or bad, and so one can go through the consequences of it, whether good or bad. So similarly, so this karma mimamsa, it is being close to Vedanta philosophy, and it is as per the teachings of Veda. And so in relation to karma kanda or karma yoga, it has been quite closer, and it takes us towards the transcendental knowledge. And Srimad Bhagavad Gita Prabhuji said that it also supports karma yoga, jnana yoga, ashtanga yoga. And so it is through karma yoga ladder. So Karma Yoga philosophy, it has been possible to attain the love of Godhead. So it is about Purva Mimamsa, that is Vedanta philosophy, and Vedanta is referred to as Uttar Mimamsa and means the latter study of Veda, and it provides a practical methodology for utilizing Vedic rituals, that is Dharma, to satisfy human desires for artha and kam. So dharma, artha, kam. So these are the three pillars, and moksha, liberation, and then pancham is surrendering to Lord. So, so these are about the different aspects, the how is dharma and the science behind it. So Prabhuji mentioned. So, can anyone highlight about the concept of duty?
Basically, the whatever is required to live in a society, to maintain a family. So what duty one should do. So that is what is the basis on righteousness, dharma, that should be done.
Yeah.
Krishna Mataji.
Very good, Prasad.
So, yeah, it all depends upon what kind of role we are playing. That is mother, teacher, father, uncle, auntie. Okay, it all depends upon that as well, Mataji. Yeah, hierarchy of duties. Okay, which is Prabhuji explained.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
Hare Krishna, Mother.
person might be playing different roles at a different times. Yeah.
Let me ask you. Let me ask
So,
you. What's
according
the
to the
difference?
particular role,
Let me ask you. What's the difference between Swadharma and Parodharma?
Swadharma is
Hare
like
Krishna, Vaiji. Swadharma is to do duties for ourselves, and Paradharma is to do for the duties for the others.
No.
No,
Okay.
not like
Duties for the Lord.
Parodharma.
Duties for the Lord. Parodharma means
Niswart
transcendental
duty
duty.
is
So that
Paradharma.
that doesn't mean that you ignore your personal duties. Okay. So you do that. It's important. But that when there is a conflict, then it is our dharma towards the supreme, that when we serve the Lord, automatically our personal swadharma is taken care of that.
Yes.
Swadharma supersedes or over consolidates the Swadharma as well.
Yes. Thank you.
Parodharma, right?
We have to try our all karmas connect to the Lord. So it automatically transform into the parodharma.
Yes,
So the
yes.
keyword
Swadharma
is
automatically fulfilled.
dovetailing, right? Everything is connected.
Dovetailing. Yes.
Yes, dovetailing. Everything is connected with the supreme. So grahastha and grah medhi is the difference, right?
yeah.
Grah medhi and grahastha. I think the best explanation that I heard is from Radha Vinod Prabhuji. Can you repeat that, please, Prabhu?
Yeah, Prabhuji. So again, couple of classes before we saw Pravati mark and Nimruti mark. How you synchronize? This is what is coming here. So the responsibility comes from Pravati also, but it has to be done. Grahastha is the one person who keeps it Lord at the center. So everything is around that, and Grah Medi is who wants to enjoy for himself. He doesn't have God in the picture, so he doesn't follow upgrade process, transformation process. This is what I understand, Prabhuji.
Superficially, both grah medhi and grahastha,
Same.
they are doing the same thing, but
Yeah.
the grahastha is goal oriented, supreme goal oriented.
Yes.
You know? Okay, thank you. Continue, Mataji.
Yes, one can discharge the duties having in any duty as a mother or father or wife or child or kid whatsoever, and so there is nothing to disconnect in Krishna consciousness, but one can connect themselves, isn't it? So uh, so we are not becoming isolated or getting disconnected, but we are trying to connect ourselves, and so that is really magical in ISKCON. Yeah, the science of mantra in as per Karma Mimamsa philosophy, Prabhuji had explained about this, and unity in diversity, the role of deities in this, about gods and goddesses, and so these are the different conclusions that about karma yoga, and how about atma and paramatma, paravak, and that is being the most subtle and powerful, and in Gaudiya Vaishnava philosophy it is the sound of Mahavishnu's breathing which precedes the appearance of the universe. So Karma Mimamsa, it talks about Atman and Paramatman, and by performing one's duties according to Vedic injunctions, individuals can attain material success and can prepare themselves for the deeper spiritual insights offered by Vedanta philosophy. So, yeah, it is as per Upanishads, the individual self, Atma, and Parabrahma, that is Paramatman. So it was discussed, and we know that. So it is not the Nishkam karma; it is about the Sakam karma yoga, and it has been expected from Grihasthas, and it is. Yes, the Vedanta Sutra, it provides a structured approach to understand these complex states. So it has been so complex, but Upanishads, as per their illustration from Vyasdev, it has been so um, directing for us towards the Vedanta philosophies. So the nature of God and personal versus impersonal. So how the soul is Satchit Ananda, and we are the part and parcel of Lord, and it emphasizes about in the Vedanta Sutra. It is uh, the eternal relationship. Here, Prabhuji discussed at quite greater length, and we'll be discussing again in more details in the coming text, in the coming lectures about Achintya Veda Ved Tattva and Shankaracharya's philosophy, how it has been different, and how in Vaishnava cult, how Achintya Bheda Ved Tattva, it has been important. So this particular, it was discussed, the soul has the free will to choose to serve God and to become entangled in material existence. So this freedom is central to the individual journey towards liberation. And so here liberation is not like the way we do see about what we call them as the one who believe uh, Nirankar and etc. So Sagun Sakara Roop we do believe in, and so it highlights about this Bhakti path. So the conclusion is Vedanta represents a culmination of Vedic philosophy, synthesizing various teachings and critiques of other systems while emphasizing the personal nature of God and the importance of duty and knowledge in achieving the liberation. So, this path of self realization. So, through the understanding of the Upanishads and the teachings of Vedanta Sutra, individuals are guided on the path towards self realization, ultimately, ultimately leading to the experience of divine love and unity with the Supreme. So, there lies the importance, and here Prabhuji ended it, and we'll go through the session now by His Grace Charity.
Thank you, Mataji, as usual. Always wonderful. So
Prabhuji,
nice.
Wonderful.
it's so difficult for us to read also. I don't know how you do it.
No, it's if you make an effort, genuine effort,
Yes.
not difficult. See, today we are going to be doing still more difficult. Complexity layers are increasing now, Upanishads, right? So that is what we are going to be talking about. But all these things are interconnected with each other. Okay? If your foundation is very weak, you cannot build a skyscraper. So so first of all, I want to thank you everyone for wonderful, wonderful recapping. That is the best thing that we actually introduce this recapping, much more than the lecture itself, this interactive discussion, active discussion, that we learn more about it, So I'm very, very grateful to everyone. Yes,
Hare Krishna.
Benji,
May I
after
ask a question?
Hare,
मैं कहना चाहती हूँ कि जो हम पर धर्म और स्वधर्म का जो लिया तो वी जो हमारे अकर्म है that come under the category of पर धर्म. Is it right? We can take the akarma.
Now let's first understand the clear difference between karma, vikarma, and akarma. What is karma? That is being already given in the Vedas, Vedic injunctions. If you follow that, then there is a karma. So you follow Vedic injunctions, all the duties performed according to what is the way it is mentioned. Then we make progress. We go up and up and up. Whereas vikarma, if you transgress Vedic injunction, then you suffer the consequences. So in the karma, you go upward. In vikarma, you go downward. Okay. But both good karmas and bad karmas, they both have reactions, right? Good karma means good reactions. So you get rewards. But even for rewards, you need to come back in this world to enjoy it. So there is not liberation in that sense. Vikarma, obviously, everybody understand that is
Yes.
bad consequences, right? But then there is a akarma. Akarma is one which there is no reaction. Anything and everything you do it for the satisfaction, for the pleasure of the Lord, that becomes akarma. So that akarma, in other words, you can say connect with called parodharma. You work for the Supreme Lord, same activities, okay, same activities, but you devote the results. You're not attached to the results. You give it for the satisfaction of the Lord. Even an ordinary person, ordinary things he may be doing, but he is not attached to karma. He's doing for the pleasure of the Lord. Okay. See, people might be studying very deeply, just as I am doing. Okay, there's no difference, right? But that is different cause where whatever I'm trying to do it, and you guys are all trying to do it, is for the pleasure of the Lord. So that becomes akarma. Akarma means no reaction. So that is our parodharma. So swadharma and parodharma, there's a fine line in between. So that you need to understand. Okay,
Yes, Vaiji.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions, comments you have? Anybody? Before we proceed? Because we are going to go and notch higher now, okay, in terms of complexity. You thought those 6 dharma was very difficult to understand. Now we are going to go into these Upanishads, okay? So I need to prepare you for 5 to 10 minutes to really prepare you how to study Upanishad, how to understand. This Upanishad is full of nuances are there, okay? So rather than you need to say something.
Prabhuji, what is the relevance of this one, particularly Vaisheshika? Nyaya, some level I can understand.
These
Some of the
six darshanas are somehow interconnected with each other, okay?
Okay.
So that's what is. I told you. In fact, the one which we are going to talk about is the Sankhya Yoga. What is Sankhya Yoga? You know that. The two main things starts from that Sankhya Yoga series of actions.
Yeah.
Purusha on left side, Prakriti, right? Purusha is the conscious being. Prakriti is the
unconscious.
And Purusha and Prakriti both combine with what? With the Paramatma. Paramatma is the active component that joins conscious unity and the unconscious unity. Purusha and Prakriti, they combine together. Now, when we talk about Purusha, one thing everybody understand. Purusha actually, it means like a male being, like gender involved. There is really no gender here. In Stree and women, also there is a Purush Tattva. Okay? Purush Tattva means that a person who is doing is a conscious being and he's actively involved, he or she. Okay? So Purusha, don't think it is a gender conscious thing. In women also there is a Purusha. Okay? The Purusha is meant not gender, not Purusha the male entity, but the one who is consciously being controlling things. That's one. So let me. Did I answer your question, Brother Vinod Prabhuji?
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. So now, before we get into the Upanishad itself, and this is, I also shared you the main article of Surat Maharaj, His Holiness. I'm not sure he still exists now, but he has.
I don't think, Prabhuji.
Yeah,
Prabhuji, just for 10 seconds, there's a lot of controversy about that Maharaj also.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Right.
But I was
so
very impressed.
I happened to check his site. just happened. I normally don't go. He was kicked out of ISKCON and all that. So I was disturbed like last couple of days. I was just wanted to
Really, I didn't know
bring it
that
to
about
you.
it.
Yes, Prabhuji.
I
I'll leave it
only
here.
judge.
Yeah.
I only
Yeah.
judge because he writes very scholarly article. They're all bhakti oriented, and he gives due credit to Srila Prabhupada also. So I don't know, but even if it's so, I don't pay that attention.
Okay, Prabhuji. Understand. I'm coming to the same thing.
Shastra is
Thank you.
teaching us. Shastra is teaching us. You see good things in a person. Nobody's perfect. Nobody's perfect. But you see good qualities of another person, and you focus on that. So that's what I'm saying. I've been following this, reading this article in many different subject matters. He has a site there, So even the Bhagavatam, first 4 cantos, that he very good articles. Anyway, let's not get sidetracked, okay? Let's focus here. And he has written this scholarly essay, 16-part essay, in a 56 pages long article, okay? And there are 16 parts to it. And what I try to do is 16 parts are compressed into 4 lessons, okay? That we'll talk about it. But before I get into it, I need to prepare you guys for that, okay? Some basic things, basic elements of it. Anybody has any questions before I start on that? And you interrupt me any minute, any time. If I'm not clear enough, stop me. I would rather ask you to stop me before I go further, okay? Because every layer depends on the previous layer. The previous layer, if you don't understand, then you won't understand the higher and higher things, okay? So please feel free. We are very informed. I like to conduct this in a very informal manner. No hard and fast rules, okay? So first, I need to prepare you for that. First, let me ask you this question, and I need to take 5 to 10 minutes, no more than that, okay? And 1 hour for the actual Upanishads class, and we'll do in 4 lessons, okay? First, 2 different groups of people, okay? Seeing the same scenery, hearing the same music, and yet pull apart their views. One watches the movie, 2 critics, watches the movie, and he might say he will give 5 out of 5 stars. Exactly same movie, the other person says he might even hesitate to give 1 star. Okay, why do you think that is so? Anybody?
Hare Krishna Bhaiji, it depends upon the mentality of the person who are checking this.
It is because of the vasanas, Prabhuji. Okay,
Yeah.
different persons have different tendencies. Okay,
So different outlook, right?
in this life
So
or previously.
Yeah, Urdu.
प्रभु जी जो पहले वाले ने है वो बहुत ही अपने आप को उसमें इन्वॉल्व कर दिया. दैट्स व्हाई ही इज कनेक्ट. उसने अपने आप को बहुत अच्छे से कनेक्ट कर लिया, इसलिए वो बहुत अच्छा लगा, तो उसने 5 आउट ऑफ 5 दे दिए. और दूसरे ने इतने कनेक्ट नहीं कर पाया उसमें अपने आप को.
Same, everything is same, exactly same,
Yes.
right?
Prabhuji, it depends on the state of the mind of the person.
Yes.
Like how,
And what
with
is that controls? What is that controls the very personality?
the predominant,
the
circumstances?
Modes of material nature, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Like
That differentiate
Prabhupada
different
always
beings.
give, Hare Krishna, like just like Prabhupada always give that example that the sun can be
It was
understood,
how these
sunlight, globe, and
Not able to hear properly, Sanjay Prabhuji.
Oh,
Your voice is
sorry.
low.
Is it okay now? Very sorry. Just like Srila Prabhupada give example, no? Ki sun can be understood in 3 aspects: the sunlight, sun rays, sunlight, and the sun globe, and the sun god. So that way, that is the mode of nature I was trying to come to.
See
Is
why
it
I'm
okay?
saying that
Am I
the
audible?
same. Yes, I can hear you now. The same Upanishads read by the Mayavadi philosophers, and the same Upanishads read by the devotees pull apart conclusions they draw, right? That's the reason why I said that one has to understand the psychology behind that, all right? The other things that I need to point out to you that in actually Urdu, I studied Urdu also in my younger days. Urdu, there's a बहुत अच्छी बात कही गई है, नजर और नजरिया. Nazar means the vision, okay? But how you look at a particular scene, नजरिया, मेन इंपोर्टेंस से नजरिए की बात है, कहते हैं ना, तो वो कैसे किस तरह से देखा जाता है, किस तरह से सुना जाता है, वो बहुत डिपेंड करता है उस पर. In under what consciousness you do all these things, okay? So that is another thing you need to watch out when you study Upanishads. Upanishads are somewhat jnana based, okay, knowledge based, but Upanishads, you'll see as we progress in the Upanishads, it's not just because the non-devotee community, these Mayavadi philosophers, they see Upanishads as Nirguna Nirakara, right? Nirguna means no particular attributes. Nirakara means it's a formless. And yet, the same Upanishad gives perfect bliss, Ananda. How could that Upanishad can give bliss which is completely Nirguna Nirakara? How could that? Only the conscious unity, conscious unit, conscious being can give the pleasure, right? This is just one example out of dozens of there, okay? Same this Brahmana, there are three aspects of absolute truth, right? They're not independent of each other. They're very tightly interacted with each other. Same Brahmana that will come across acting as Antaryami. What is Antaryami? Anybody can help me to understand what is Antaryami?
जो
Yeah, बताइए बहन जी बोलिए.
जो दूसरे के भाव समझता है, अंतर्यामी मतलब उसके जो फीलिंग्स हैं उनको जानता है.
अगर हम आप कितना प्रयत्न करें, क्या बोल सकते हैं कि उनके मन में क्या है, कि उनके दिमाग में क्या है, बोल सकते हैं हम लोग? Precisely right. Can we say exactly right what it's called mind reading, right? Can we do that? Anybody?
No, not possible for us.
Yes, but the Paramatma sitting on our heart,
Yeah,
he's Antaryami.
he is Antaryami.
He is knower of
Exactly.
everything.
See, when Arjuna and Duryodhana came just the day before the start of the war, on Krishna said, on one hand, I have Narayani Sena, very, very competent Sena, the army. On the other hand, I am Niyatha. I will not pick up any weapons. So he gave a choice to both of them. What do you want, right? And Arjuna made a very intelligent choice. I want you, Krishna. Whereas Duryodhana was very happy, he chose Narayani Sena. Until who did win? So that's the question about that. So one has to really understand properly when you need to make a decision, you need to really think well. Upanishads are very, very enigmatic. The word enigmatic, everybody understand what the meaning of enigmatic? Enigmatic. Very difficult to understand, very difficult to comprehend, right? That's called enigmatic. So by its very nature, Upanishads are difficult in that sense. But if you really make a genuine try and dive in it with trust in Bhagavan, then everything will become easier for you to understand. But you need to make an effort. Then Lord is there. You must have heard, भगवान उससे हेल्प करते हैं जो अपने आप को हेल्प करता है, right? You should not blindly depend the Lord will do everything, I just do nothing. You need to make an effort. So here Upanishad understanding also, you make a genuine effort So same Upanishads, and you'll see as we go progress, same Upanishad will there be Brahman Tattva, Nirgun Nirakun Tattva, no shape, no form, no attributes. Okay, but the same Brahman you'll see act as Antaryami, as if super soul. And what is super soul exactly? Let me ask you that. Anybody is very clear idea? Who is the super soul?
Prabhuji, I think we understand Bhagavad Gita, Drashta, Anumanta, and Bhokta, right? So those three words were there.
Yeah, but in terms of, is he a person or is he just a Nirgun Nirakana Brahman?
It's a person, expansion
It's
of
a person,
Krishna.
Lord's
Yeah,
right.
it's a
Lord
It's a,
Krishna.
Kshirodakshaya Vishnu, right? And
Vishnu,
it is
yeah.
the size of our individual thumb sitting
Yeah.
in our heart. Okay, there is a personal aspect, Paramatma. You know, the yogis, they aim at Paramatma. Okay, so same Brahman, Nirgun Nirakara can become personal also, because Kshirodakshaya Vishnu is a person, and same being can also, we'll see later on, he's Bhagavan too. So there is no clear-cut disconnection between Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagavan. All three are interconnected. Okay, but the devotee's understanding is that how you pursue the first level of perception is Brahman, then Paramatma, and ultimately Bhagavan, right? In Upanishad, in the beginning, you will not see a distinction because we have been given this kind of understanding for ages that it's Nirgun Nirakara. But same Upanishad, if you really care to study, you will see later, and there is a hierarchy that we'll see among Upanishads. There are totally 108 Upanishads. Out of the 108 Upanishads, 10 are the major Upanishads, and then some people call it 14 Upanishads, okay, and some call it 10 Upanishads. As we go along, we'll see the hierarchy in that. But nonetheless, 10 to 14 is still manageable. You'll understand better if you know what is the criteria in that. Why I'm saying all these things? Everything that we are doing for the past few weeks, they are ladders, one by one, going higher and higher and higher. Okay. We started, I told you, with this Shadadarshana, right? And you see the application of Shadadarshana. Don't forget Shadadarshana, okay? Then now we are coming to Upanishads. Also, it has very tight relationship what we are going to study ultimately. The Vedanta Sutras. Vedanta Sutra, there is a very heavy application of Upanishads. And this 14 Upanishads I am talking about, they are very, very bhakti oriented. Okay? And they ultimately lead you to Bhagavan realization. Another thing aspect of Brahman, it said Nirgun Nirakara, completely that kind of entity. How could they have already one? I already pointed out Ananda. Brahman is called a zillion-fold higher bliss than the material Ananda. Let's say you won a lottery, but $1 billion. That happiness which you get, you multiply another billion, still it won't come nearer to Brahman realization. And what to speak of Bhagavan realization? Okay, so there is this kind of situation. How can something, some entity which has no attributes, no form, how could that be a conscious about the Ananda? Okay, so that also you need to understand. Brahmana, the same verses, how you interpret, and there is a clear cut mention there. And Maharaj exactly points out which are the Upanishads, says which verse, which Upanishads, which verse, which sloka, exactly quotes that. And that leaves no doubt whatsoever that Brahman can be Nirguna Nirakara. At the same time, Brahman could be also Saguna. So Nirguna Brahma, Saguna Brahma. Okay. So that is the first point you need to understand, clear understand as we go. I'm trying to prepare you before you get into it. Okay. Just like on the bank of a river or a lake, before you jump in it, you need to prepare yourself, right? Whether you can you swim or not, So you need to, that's why I'm preparing you for that. Other aspect of it, Brahman, that generally when you study Brahman, realization and all these things, what is its, when you want to describe something, it should have its main characteristics. And there are secondary characteristics, primary and secondary. In Sanskrit, the primary characteristic is called Swarupa Lakshana. Swarupa Lakshana, okay? So Brahman is also given this Swarupa Lakshana, what it is. So pay attention to that. And then there are Gauna characteristics, secondary characteristics you need to understand. So far, are there any questions? So
Prabhuji.
Yeah.
Yeah, we are talking about, I'll just quote, if you give 1 minute, I'll quote one Hari part, what Nirguni Nirakar, we are talking about, right? Where the differentiation, Jnaneshwar, he is the incarnation of Vishnu. He talks about, just I'll read that, and you see that how he synchronizes that concept. He says, Triguna Asar, Nirgun he Sar, Sara Sar Vichar Hari part, सगुण निर्गुण गुणाचे अवगुण हरिविने मन व्यर्थ जाय अव्यक्त निराकार नाही जा आकार तेथून चराचर हरिसे बजे. So what is saying that in that just 1 second, let me come back to what is saying. Nirguna nirakar, that means as you see that it doesn't have form. Saguna sakar, that means you take, these are qualities. Sometimes you describe somebody is wearing white cloth or somebody is wearing the black cloth. These are qualities of the Nirakar. So don't get involved into that. The same Lord which has both attributes, as you look. Srila Prabhupada talks about it doesn't have material attribute, right? That's what he talks about on that Nirgun Nirakar. But remember that from whom entire material world, entire manifestation is managed. So focus on that. That is his how he brings it to that, Prabhuji, on that.
Very good. Thank you. Thank you. So that is the devotee's interpretation, that it has, Brahman has both, okay, person as well as Nirguna also. Both are there. So it is, that's another point I was trying to prepare you for that. That when you talk about something, let's give you a practical example, okay? Something, let's give you one example, okay? Administration and administrator. What is the difference between the two?
Administrator doing administration.
Administrator and administration.
Yeah.
One is the person.
Administrator is the one
Yes.
who is doing that administration.
So, in other words, what is the energetic and one energy? Can you separate between the two? We cannot separate, right? We cannot separate. We cannot separate between the two. Whenever even somebody says administration, the person has an understanding that somebody is doing that administration. You cannot separate between the two. Energy and energetic. Energy belongs to person who has that energy, who has that capacity. Okay. So here also, this Mayavadis lose connection with that. Okay. Devotees know Brahman is Brahma Jyoti of the Supreme Lord. And here we'll see even cosmic creation, Brahman is Upanishad gives Brahman is actively involved in that. Okay. But that Brahman also we know that is a Mahavishnu. Through Mahavishnu, he throws a glance in the womb of Prakriti and injects we living beings with our previous karma stored in it, right? And then he also enters to interconnect. Okay. In fact, there are three main characteristics that we'll see in Brahman. Okay. And something you may not have heard that you will hear today. So with that kind of preparation, let's get into it. So now you're well prepared to dive into a lake, okay? Lake of these Upanishads. So I just prepared you, whether you can take care of yourself before you dive.
Prabhuji, last one I
Yeah.
want to add. Sorry that. So one of your notes says that Brahman is a neutral. I think somewhere it is a word came neutral.
Okay, we'll see when it gets to it. Okay.
Okay,
We'll
thank
talk
you.
about it. In what context it is said. It's context driven many things. In fact, Sanskrit language, their words are combined. Okay. Sometimes 3-4 words, sometimes the whole sentence is one word. So that is called sandhi. And sandhi means unite different words together. And there are rules how to break the sandhi. It's called samasa. And totally pole apart meaning will be there if you wrongly do it, wrongly break the sandhis. Pole apart meaning, okay? But it's all context driven. And that's why Shastra is also like that. Depends, and that's why you need to understand how to interpret Shastric statements. And there are rules for that. But that's like going completely sidetracked. Okay, let's get into Upanishads now. So everybody's ready now. Okay? And we'll go methodically in these 4 lessons, step by step. And I will try to make sure that you understand the bottom step, first floor, third floor, fifth floor, like that. Okay. And we will try to understand that. Then you will see, amazingly enough, it's not really that complex. That is the beauty part of this Maharaj, that he has that neck and he has very scholarly, systematically defeated all arguments of this Gyanis. Okay? And ultimately it is bhakti oriented, bhaktya mam abhijanati. So only through bhakti you can understand Upanishads, right? We'll see the definition, nature, characteristics in today's lesson, right? It's a kind of a more or less introducing the subject matter. So let me share my screen first. Okay, you can see my screen
Yes.
here.
Yes, Bhai.
Yes,
Yes.
Prabhuji.
Yeah, I'm going to make it full. This come. Okay. Okay, this is the first slide. And I also shared with you the original article, 56 pages long, 16-part essay. I would recommend you read it, okay, at some point. Because everything what I'm giving you is taken from that article. So there are 16 parts that is listed right here, okay? And it covers wide range, but broadly speaking, it connects Purusha, Prakriti, and the living entities, okay? Jivatmas, how they interconnect, and what is the ultimate role that we must have. So this 16 parts I've divided, compressed into 4 lessons, 4 parts, okay? So first 5 parts, there is the first lesson, lesson 1. Okay, there we learn the first introduction, the importance of this Upanishad in Shruti literature. Now you all know what is Shruti and Smriti and Ityas. Anybody can answer what is difference? What is Shruti and what is Smriti and what is Ityasa? Anybody?
Yes, Prabhuji. So Shruti is what you hear directly, the words of the Lord. Like a Bhagavad Gita, he was speaking on the battlefield. Directly we are hearing.
And
Smriti
Smriti?
is the one, like a Vyasdev wrote all this Puranas by knowing all these things, he writes it. That is Smriti.
And we need to
Ityasas is
remember. Smriti means remembering, right?
remembering, yes.
Yes.
And remembers and he writes that. And
Yeah.
Ityasas
So what are the characteristics between the two?
So one is hearing like Lord is speaking directly. Another is Vyasdev is a meditating, thinking, and writing with a more details on that, just to make us understand, like a Purana.
So Shruti is something that cannot be changed. Smriti, Puranas are there. Time to time, editions have taken place. Okay. Ityasa is Ramayana, Mahabharata. But historically, that explains to us. So in Shruti, returning back to Shruti part, Upanishad comes into that category. Okay. So self-realized souls, sages, they are not ordinary beings. Okay. And all this 808 Upanishad also divided among the 4 Vedas. Okay. And our great self-realized ancient sages, they have taken a particular segment of Vedas and they give commentaries. So it's a purely jnana based. And they are very deep seated. So Upanishads are primarily jnana based. And that is an explanation of some very enigmatic Vedic statements that's very difficult to understand. So Upanishad tries to explain that part of it. Okay. So there are 108% out of 108. The hierarchy is there. The 10 or 10 to 14, they're the major. Depends upon who wants to say that word. So introduction, the importance of Upanishad in Shruti literature. As I told you, Shruti is very, very important. And they are kind of difficult to comprehend. That's why these acharyas, they try to help us, making us understand that. Okay. And then comes the Smriti, Puranas, the particular Vamshas, lineages, and the Lord's different incarnations. So they're actually historical things that happen through which the Shruti statements are being explained to us. Okay. Upanishad is just a theory, all right? But it's practical applications that you see in Smritis. So Shruti and Smriti, you cannot differentiate. They are interconnected. Vyasa was, actually, he is Lord Narayana himself, his incarnation. So he's no ordinary being. So he very intelligently put together to make us understand, especially because Vedas are not supposed to be studied by everybody. Okay. Shudras, women, all, but in Kali Yuga, we are all really Shudras. So that's the reason why he created this Puranas. Through that, he helped us understand the statements given in Shruti, Upanishads, so on like that, because we are less intelligent, everybody in Kali Yuga. So introduction, we will see what is actually Brahman, what's his definition, what's his characteristics, nature and characteristics. Those are the basic things. In the first lesson, we will hear about that. So, and Shruti, Upanishads are really the personification of bliss. And I told you, I just give you a rough example. It has no comparison on material level. No matter whatever you desire, you get it in material world. That happiness which you get is not equivalent to even a fraction of it in Brahman realization. What to speak of Bhagavan realization. So that bliss, Ananda, in the second part, we will go through that, okay? Third part, Brahman is the support, this Adhara Tattva. Now, many of you who are residing in India, you all have this Adhara card, right? What is Adhara card? It's like equivalent that we have in the West, in America, we have this Social Security card. So when you grow old, you are not totally dependent on your children. Nowadays, children are not what we used to, the way we treated our parents. That's not the way now. And their parents are also partially responsible for that. But we won't get into it. So Brahman is the Adhara, support, Tattva, for everything, for everybody. Okay? For everything and everybody. Brahman, you cannot ignore like that. As a devotee, whenever we talk Brahman, you cannot separate from one Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagavan. All three are tightly interconnected. Okay. The fourth part, Brahman. So I'm just right now walking you through these 16 parts and how I've compressed into 4 lessons. What is exactly my motive behind that? So I'm going to show you systematically to walk you through all 4 lessons. That is my job in the first lesson. So I'm going to try avoiding complex things right at the very beginning. I don't want you to turn you off. Because the way we heard Brahman, it's very, very difficult to understand. That's not exactly true. If you make effort, abhyasi yogena, vairagya yogena, you can understand everything by the mercy of the Supreme Lord. And we are all devotees, okay? So Brahman, see, look at the fourth part. Brahman also is the inner controller. And that's what the super Paramatman, the super soul, is Antaryami. His character is right. And there's a Upanishad called Svetasvatara Upanishad. There's a word sloka is there. There are 2 birds sitting on the same tree branch. One bird is enjoying the fruit of the tree. The other bird is simply watching him as a witness. So, as a witness, super soul, one aspect of it. Second aspect of the super soul is Anumanta. Unless until he sanctions, even the blade of grass cannot move. And the third aspect of the super soul is that he is the Surudam Sarvabhutanam. He is the best well-wishing friend one can have. Okay, 3 aspects of it. So this Brahman, since it does not have a gender, it's called itself, right? But actually, that Brahman, it is he portion is also there in that. Okay, we'll see later on. So Brahman is support Adhara. So again, this is third thing I'm pointing out to you. How can that which is no attributes, no characteristics, how could have an Ananda potency? How could have an Adhara? How could support somebody else when he does not have his own being tattva? You see, I'm pointing out where this Mayavadis miss all these things. Right in this preliminary lesson, Ananda capacity, Adhara tattva, Brahman is the one who keeps everybody together. Brahman, without Brahman, there is no support even this material world can sustain. So Brahman is also creates through this Vishnu Tattva actually. It maintains Vishnu Tattva, and then it disintegrates everything and goes back again. So that's the way in Upanishads Brahman is given. But as we progress, especially in 14 Upanishads, there are specific verses are there which leaves no doubt whatsoever. There's a super soul tattva is there. Same Brahman acts as super soul. Same Brahman acts as Bhagavan tattva also. And you will see later on. And here, the fifth part, Brahman is Ishvara tattva, Paramatman tattva, and Purusha. How can you explain somebody who has no any characteristic that would support that tattva? If Nirguna Nirakara tattva, as the Mayavadis say, how could they explain these things? And these are actually the verses, slokas and Upanishads that Maharaj points out in it. We'll go through some of the slokas. So that is the first lesson. Then I'm going to lead you to the second lesson. Right now I'm doing all walking you through that, okay? We'll actually dive into different depths, okay? All the way to the bottom of this lake. Right now you are just jumped into the lake. You're getting the feel of the water. So that's the first part, is basically introduction. And some of the words, description that's been used, terms that have been used, that we need to understand. So that's all. The first part is all about that, introducing the backdrop of a story. Okay, what is the storyline? What are the main characters, and so on, like that. Now we are going to get a little bit deeper into it. Second level of depth. What actually Brahman does and how it does. Brahman's attributes. Brahman is an absolute truth. But absolute truth, what is that famous word? Brahmaeti, Paramatmaeti, Bhagavan eti, Shabdiyate. Right? So those all three are inseparable, interconnected beings. Brahman is the absolute truth. Brahman is not a demigod. Because Brahman is that powerful, people have this conception, this may be one of the devas. Not at all. And then comes to the part, the second segment of that part, we are making a transition. Now Brahman, how it connects with it, the ordinary jivatmas, the living beings. Jiva and jivatma, what is the difference between, I explained so many times, and we are going to come across repeatedly all the time. So you must have a very crystal clear foundation on the understanding of jivatman, jiva and jiva atman. Anybody could explain to me? And in fewer words,
Yes, Prabhuji.
don't take
Yes.
10 minutes.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes.
Jeev means the pure soul and is a part and parcel of the Lord. And Jivatma is a mixture of Prakriti and soul.
And what is
It is
that Prakriti in the jivatma?
Conditions.
Jhat Tattva. It is a Pradhan, three modes of material nature, Karmendriya, Jnanendriya.
No. I want the right word.
Conditioned soul is
Physical body.
Yes, physical
Embodied
body. Yes.
soul. Embodied soul. Just give the right word. It should immediately strike. So jivatma means the jiva who has this physical body. Physical body is a part of Prakriti. So you're not wrong, Lakshmataji. You're right. But you get right into it, Okay, so Jivatman is that. And Brahman is connected with Jivatma also. The third segment is this Prakriti itself, Jagata, material world. Okay, and how that connects. So this is the second part we are talking about, okay? Second lesson. So relationship between Jivatma and Brahman. Okay. Actually, the Brahman is the word coined by the Westerners. In Sanskrit, it's called Brahman. It's not called Brahman. It's called Brahma. Brahma. That is Brahman actually. Okay. Keep that in mind. And there are different states of Jivatmas. That we'll see in the part 11. So first five part in
Sorry, Prabhuji,
first part
how is
lesson 1. Second
how is-
lesson is 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, Prabhuji, go. Yeah, sorry.
yeah, sorry, just one. I always get this confused. So how is Lord Brahma addressed versus Brahman? There is the
Yeah,
creator.
there's a gulf of difference between Brahma
So
and
how
Brahman.
do you pronounce
Lord
that?
Brahma. So Brahman, it says Lord Brahma is the most intelligent being. He is the celestial engineer, right? Who created this material world.
Yeah,
As
my question is,
what
how
was
do you
Sarga and
pronounce
Nisarga, right?
them, Prabhu?
So
What is
Brahman is way beyond that intelligence also. The word Brahma and the Brahma, Lord Brahma, is talked about by this by His Holiness Suharth Maharaja. He talks about. So it's just it's a gulf
No.
of difference.
Yeah, Prabhuji, how do you pronounce them correctly is my question.
Actually, in Sanskrit, it's called Brahma.
Brahma. That is Lord Brahma.
No, that is not Brahma, Lord Brahma. Brahma itself, the supreme personality of Godhead.
Brahma. Okay.
ब्रह्म मीन्स ये जब हम कहानी सुनते हैं ना रामायण महाभारत इसमें नहीं आते माता पार्वती in especially Ramacharita the story comes, right? Shiva's first wife was Uma, the daughter of Daksha, right? And she had trouble because Lord Shiva's Ishtadev is Lord Ramachandra. Ramachandra's Ishtadev is also Lord Shiva. Between the relation between the two is very complicated. They both love each other and both call the other supreme. Okay, both call each other their devotees. Okay, so Mata Parvati, not at Parvati, it was Uma, the daughter of Daksha, Daksha Prajapati. So here she had confusion about Lord Shiva worshipping Lord Ramachandra. Okay, so there she uses the word. How do you say that Ramachandra is Brahma? Brahma Swarupa. That's the word Brahma is used there. Brahma Swarupa means supreme personality of Godhead. Okay. And Lord Shiva tried to explain to her, but she wouldn't understand. And she wanted to test himself. Is Ramachandra really Brahma, the supreme being? So she wanted to test him. And that time, Lord Ramachandra was struggling, going through the forest looking for his consort Sita Devi, who had been kidnapped by Ravana. Okay? So he was in terrible. Of course, he was, connecting a part of what a human being, what the ideal king had to be, what the ideal father has to be, what the ideal son is, what the ideal brother, all these things. Okay, so Parvati took a form of Sita Devi. So Lord Ramachandra first paid his obeisances and says, Mother, why are you alone in this lonely forest? Where is Lord Shiva? So that's where she realized this person is no ordinary person. How did he know that I am not Sita, but I am the consort of Lord Shiva? So that's where the word Brahma is given. She said to Lord Shiva, her husband, that how can I believe that Ramachandra is the Brahma himself? So now you understand? I a little bit digress to make you understand that.
So Brahma is not
Lord Brahma. Brahma is the one, the supreme being.
And Brahma is the living entity. Right. That's what.
Brahma is the first living entity, first Jiva Tattva.
Okay, good. Thank you, Prabhu.
Lord Shiva is between Jiva and Vishnu Tattva. Shadashiv is, you must have heard, right? Okay, we got digressed. Okay, so I was explaining you the first part I already explained. Second part was I was about to complete. That is between the relationship between Brahma and Jivatma. Okay, interconnection. And the third aspect now we are talking about with Jagata, material world. So every time we are going to come across this, whenever we talk about the absolute truth, these 3 units, this particular, when we get into this prerequisite courses, because ultimately our objective is to understand Vedanta Sutras, right? And that's very, very complicated philosophy. That's why I'm taking you step by step. Why I've taken first the Shadadarshana, you'll find its application now. You'll see that. Don't forget whatever you learned this far. And you will begin to understand much deeper as we progress further. So now I'm going to do the second step to explain you Upanishad, because that Upanishad also play a very critical role. Unless you study, understand Upanishads, you'll not be able to study Vedanta Sutras. So Vedanta Sutra, all this thing, knowledge, understanding is going to be very critical. Okay. So now the third part, the fourth lesson that we are talking about, that's where the interrelationship between the universe, this Jagata material world, and how Brahma is involved in that. Without Brahman, nothing can happen. So this universe, Brahman, and when we talk about Prakriti, material world, we are obviously talking about Prakriti, right? So Prakriti is in Maya's 3 gunas. So that is there. Then we come to sadhana in the Upanishads. And finally, what is the ultimate Purushartha? We already heard Purushartha. It is Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. That's right. That's also Purushartha, right? But that's the material level. Okay. On the spiritual level, Paramam Purushartha. Parama means Paro Dharma, like that. Parama means absolute. Purushartha is to have a supreme goal in life, to understand Brahma, Paramatma, Bhagavan. They are not separate. You cannot separate. They are interconnected, different aspects of the same entity. Okay. So I walked you through that. Any question thus far before I progress further, before I actually going into that lesson? Anybody?
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Are you with me so far?
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Yes, Mataji.
Prabhu, I little bit want an explanation about the Jivatman and Jiva. Just now was mentioned that Jiva is the one which is the soul, and the Jivatman is the one with the soul, with the material body. But I think if you even go and research properly, I think it is the opposite. Jiva is the one with the material body, and then Jivatman is the pure soul.
No, Jiva cannot be material. Jiva is part and parcel of the Supreme.
Jivatma.
Jiva, when you call material means it is a material body, then it is Jivatma.
Jivatma is the soul, and when it's having the material body is the Jiva.
Soul, Atma is soul, but this Jiva, Atma is called Jivatman. There is where this material body, that is Jivatman. This is called, and many times it's given in the Shastra, it's called embodied soul. Embodied means that has body, physical body. So Atman and Jivatman, that's the fundamental difference. Shamati, now you clear about that?
Yes, according to the
No,
thing,
you
it
seem to
looks
have a
like
doubt
that,
about
but
it. You seem
yes,
to have a doubt about
exactly.
it.
See, Prabhu, if Atma is there, then the Jivatma, when you say what is Jiva, Jiva means the body. So if you're saying
No,
like
Jiva
that,
is not a body. Jiva is not a body. Jiva itself literally meaning soul.
no, Prabhu. Atma means soul.
Check
Okay,
it. You
Jiva
check it
means
out.
soul.
Mataji,
check it out.
other name of soul is Jiva also. Jiva भी कह सकते हैं Mataji.
Jiva is the soul.
आत्मा फिर क्या है? आत्मा
is
सोल है
also
ना?
Jiva is the soul.
आत्मा इससे समानार्थी शब्द.
No, Jiva Atman, that is the one. The Jiva is
Okay,
embodied with
we
physical
can-
body. That's
Okay.
Jivatman.
I can bring out the wherever it is written that Jivatma. Anyway, after this I will send in the group. If wherever you also can send where you found what you are saying is true, and I will also send where I found it. Okay.
The word Jivatman is meant is referred to as embodied soul. Do you understand? Do you agree with that embodied soul?
Jivatman is pure soul, part and parcel of Krishna, and Jiva is the body. Jivatman means the pure soul. Jiva is the
okay. Let's
just the
not get
opposite
into.
of what you
Let's
are
not get
saying.
in. Let's not get into get into semantics. But if you understand the main thing, embodied soul. Let's use the word embodied soul, right? I don't want to get
Hare
into
Krishna,
this.
Prabhuji, I have one question, Prabhuji.
Before Raksha Mataji, Sharad Prabhuji, what do you have to say?
Yes,
Sharad?
Prabhuji. What actually they both seem to be correct, but what you were saying, Jiva is the soul, because this word is used everywhere, like here in the Upanishads it will also come. Jiva is the soul. Jivatma means Jiva plus Atma. That means it is embodied. That is, it has got a body, it has got a material body, plus it has got a soul.
So, Chiramataji, that's exactly what I said.
Okay, Prabhu. I don't know. Whatever I have read, I've read like this.
Okay, do you accept at least the embodied soul?
Which one? Yeah.
Embodied soul.
Embodied soul, but soul.
Embodied means
soul.
No. Embodied soul is not soul. Soul has a particular body. That's called embodied soul, physical body.
Okay, whatever. I mean,
that clearly says embodied. Embodiment has a body. Soul doesn't have a body. Jiva is pure atomic soul.
If you say embodied soul, then that means you're saying that Atma is the soul and Jiva is the body.
No. Again, we are making same mistake. Atma is not soul. Jiva, embodied soul, that is means he has a physical body, not pure soul. Jivatma has a finite lifespan. Jiva does not have a finite lifespan. He is eternal.
Okay,
Prabhuji, can you make further distinction? I cannot make further distinction than that.
Okay, we can stop here and later on we can discuss because I'm taking you away from.
So this slide you understood, everybody now? 16 parts explained there, right? Okay. So here's the next slide. The 4 lessons, first 5 parts. Lesson 1, part 6
Prabhuji, I
to
have
9.
one question, Prabhuji.
Yes.
Prabhuji, Brahman includes everything, matlab Prakriti, Jiva, and pura universe. It includes everything. Brahman.
No. Brahma in the form of Jiva, in the form of super soul, creates a material world. Right? Of course, it is taken the part of both super soul and Bhagavan, Lord Vishnu, the textual parts. But like I said, you cannot separate, interconnected. Whereas material world itself is not the supreme Brahma. Prakriti is existing, but this connecting between the Purusha and Prakriti, that's where the Brahman or the Paramatma is required. All right. Okay. This.
Okay,
So let's finish this thing. Okay. Then in the discussion time, we will debate about all this thing. Okay. Archana Mataji, you can wait till the discussion. All right.
All right, Prabhu. Thank you, Prabhu.
Yeah. Fair enough. So lesson 1, the essence of Brahman. So here's the word, it's called Brahman. I'm using the Western way of pronunciation, right? But you must keep in the mind always, it's Brahma. Deepening our understanding of the nature, significance of Brahman in Upanishadic philosophy. And that we'll hear today. Part of it we got into it. Tomorrow we'll get into this lesson 2, the attributes of the Absolute, diving deeply into the profound characteristics and ultimate truth of Brahman. the primary Lakshana, Swarup Lakshana, and all these things. We are going to get into it. Third lesson, now right, we are in the middle of it, okay? Journey of the Jivatmans. Now we are talking interconnection. Again, this is academically accepted word Jivatman is used, okay? And that's what I'm using because I'm writing my dissertation. I have to use what is academically accepted. Jivatman means actually it is embodied soul, okay? Now onwards, keep that in mind. Krishna Mataji, you like it or not, but you need to accept this term. Jivatman means the embodied soul, okay?
Okay, Prabhu.
When the world goes, mass goes, you need to go with it. Otherwise, you get left out. So, journey of the Jivatman, embodied soul, and how Brahman is involved there. So, unpacking the relationship and the evolution of the Jivatman in its journey towards Brahman. So, that means ultimately liberation and Brahman realization. How can a Jiva who has a material body, so Jivan Mukti, have you heard the word Jivan Mukti? There are two kinds of mukti, right? Jivan Mukti
Yes.
and Videha Mukti. Jivan Mukti means, right, still he has a material body.
Yeah.
He's living and still is liberated. Just like the Prabhupada gives an example of lotus. Lotus lying in the muddy water, grows in muddy water, but the muddy water does not touch its body. So Jivan Mukti is self-realized. Brahman realized, Bhagavan realized. That is called Jivan Mukti. Right? And Videha Mukti, when ultimate liberation takes place, that's when he leaves this body, he does not accept another body. When he drops super soul also, that is the ultimate liberation. The journey of the Jivatma. So how this journey takes place and how the interrelationship that happens. So you may call it here, it is called Brahman realization because it's Upanishads, but in a devotee, it's a Bhagavan realization ultimately, okay? But you cannot differentiate again. Don't make mistake. Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagavan each has their role. They are interconnected. All right. So final lesson is as I told you, on one hand with the Jivas, Jivatman, how the Jivatman can drop his Sthula Sarira, okay, Sthula Sarira means gross body, and also his subtle body, Asthula body. There is this Mana Buddhi Ahankar, that must be dropped. Then only becomes the ultimate liberation, right? So that aspect is in the third lesson. Third aspect, how this cosmic manifestation and the role of Brahman, in the role of Brahman, in the Paramatma role, that will be there. So they are interchangeably used, all these words, expressions. But here Upanishad, the way Mayavadis think, Brahman is everything. Brahman is everything, but they don't go beyond Brahman to Bhagavan. In fact, their way, Brahman comes under the influence of Maya, which is bizarre, and Brahman becomes Jivatman. All right? And Jivatman returns back to becoming Brahman when it removes the Maya's influence by studying Vedanta Sutras. Then the Jiva becomes Paramatma. So they don't differentiate Paramatma and Jiva like that. Okay? They don't say super soul and soul. They don't differentiate. And that's what they call, that means Jiva can be Bhagavan. So they don't even call Bhagavan. So you have to understand that. The cosmic perspective, fourth lesson, is putting all together now. Examining the interplay of the universe, Brahman, and the Jivatman. So I walked you through all these things. Now we are getting into each aspect of it. All right. So first lesson is again introductory. The first 5 parts. So here is now we are really getting into it. Okay. And this slide looks complicated, but it's not really complicated. What are the Upanishads? So there are this different aspect of it. So there are Vedasya Antaha. We already heard the definition of Vedanta, right? The ultimate last word of Vedas is Vedanta, right? But this Upanishads is actually the way I would coin it, Vedantasya Anta. Even the very essence of Vedanta is given in Upanishads. And then Upanishada, the way you try to follow and understand Vedanta, Upanishads, is means sitting near the self-realized soul. Upa means sitting near, Nisha means sitting by a self-realized soul, and there you don't argue with that person. You accept what the self-realized soul says that, right? So that is the definition of Upanishads. Third thing, Guhya Vidya. Guhya means secret, Vidya and knowledge. Why it is called secret? It's publicly described. In Bhagavad Gita also says, right? Guhyatamam, Uttama Guhyatam, topmost secret, but it's publicly given the knowledge. Can you somebody explain what's the difference between this? Why it is so? Anybody?
Prabhuji, it's a it is the for devotees and non-devotees. That is how it's a classified. Those who believe it is the best knowledge that devotee can take with him. In that concept, that's what I understand.
Very nicely put. Exactly, that's what it is.
प्रभु जी
So,
दूसरा भी एक पॉइंट है.
भगवान की मूर्ति है, जो बिलीव नहीं करते उसके लिए पत्थर ही दिखाएगा, बट जो भगवान देख सकते हैं, इतना ही डिफरेंस है.
जिसकी कॉन्शियसनेस प्रभु जी प्योर नहीं हुई है अब तक, वो उनको कुछ समझ में नहीं आएगा.
मंदिर में जाएंगे और देखेंगे भगवान की मूर्ति, मगर फिर भी उसमें कुछ नहीं दिखाई देगा उनको.
Yes,
by this knowledge, even somebody reads Bhagavad Gita 100 times, he will never understand if he is not a devotee, and accept what is given as a supreme knowledge, absolute knowledge. Arjuna did ask
Prabhuji, that shloka we can connect. Man mana bhava mad bhakto.
1 minute.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Sentence. Bhagwan encouraged Arjuna to ask question, right? Until the point came, Arjuna said, now I become your devotee, I'm becoming your disciple, you are my guru. Whatever you said, no argument, I'll accept. First he did argue like anything, and Krishna permitted him, solved all his questions, removed all his doubts. But once you accept that, then no question should be there, right? So here also like that. Yeah, Rakshamati, go ahead now.
इस श्लोक का कनेक्ट कर सकते हैं. मन मना भव मद भक्तो मध्यादि मम नमस्कुरु. तो अगर भगवान के भक्त बनेंगे तो ही समझ पाएंगे.
Exactly. Bhaktya mam abhijanati, right? So this Upanishad is that you need to take surrendering attitude. Then you understand everything. It will become self-realized, self-understanding. So now it's defined all these things. Okay, so there are these 5 components that helps you. What is Upanishad actually? First of all, it is the sar of the Vedanta Sura, Vedanta Sutra. Then what is actually means by Upanishad? Means you need to sit nearby at the lower platform to somebody who's self-realized soul. Because if you sit at the same height, because water flows from higher level to lower level, you want the jnana flowing from the self-realized soul to you. So you need to sit a little bit nearby, no doubt, but close by. Close by. The inner meaning is that you follow his instructions, whatever he says, and you very respectfully you sit below him, so that knowledge can grow, can flow from the top level to the your level. Okay, so there is Upanishad is exactly like that. Upa means nearby, Nisha means sit nearby, and follow and follow. And this is Guhya Vidya. So that's what I was talking about. Why it is so confidential. Just like the example we gave you. If you don't trust what it is said, then Bhagavan ki murti, there is no difference between a stone rock and Bhagavan. इस मंदिर में इसको प्राण प्रतिष्ठा कर देना ना, the devotee believe that what is prana pratishtha is called. And the fifth element, so that's why it is guhya. It is given openly, everything is described. But if you don't have shraddha, then it means nothing to you. So that is why it is called secret, means you have to have that kind of self-realization. You trust everything the what the Veda says, Upanishad says, and the Guru says, the self-realized selves, you accept it. You first argue like anything. Once you understood the way he explains, then you accept it. When you go to college, professor explains everything to you, and you keep on arguing, then how are you going to understand that? Defined by an ancient sage named Dramida as that which is deeply immersed in Brahman. Brahman, realized soul. Okay, there's a hierarchy that I already explained to you. Out of 118 Upanishads, 10 to 14, these are the Upanishads which are direct relevance to all of us. Okay, essential to Vedanta. Ultimately, we want to understand Vedanta Sutra. All these things you need to keep in mind. Don't let it slip away. Okay, then nature of Brahman. Brahman is articulated as an expansive, neutral principle whose principal understanding as the ultimate reality, the source from which everything emanates. See that? And that's the first verse in Bhagavatam, Janmadi Asyeta, right? So that itself, in fact, Srimad Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, Bhagavatam is the natural commentary of Vedanta Sutra. So that very first verse, it begins with that. So that is Brahman is also like that. Brahman and the Atman. So now here, understand now. This is a very important part of it, okay? The Upanishad delve into the profound relationship in Brahman and the individual self. Now here the word Atman is used, right? Atman means the soul. We are part and parcel of the Supreme, but we are atomic part. Fire and the spark. Difference between fire and the spark. So it's a qualitatively we are same, Sat Chit Ananda. Quantitatively we are not. And that's the kind of these distinctions we are going to come across again when we study, go further into this philosophies. And it's a spectrum, I call it spectrum. One end of the spectrum is atheism. The two philosophies of Jainism and Buddhism, they're atheistic, but they don't accept the Vedic authority. Okay. And then the other end of the spectrum is pure devotee, Dvaitavada, Madhvacharya. Okay. And intermediate in between, we see these four Vaishnava philosophies, graded by one called the one is starting with this Adi Shankaracharya. He calls Kevala Advaitavada. Kevala means absolute. He does not make any compromise. Kevala Advaitavada. Then comes Ramanujacharya. He calls it Visishta Advaita, Advaitavada. Visishta means what? Qualified. In his side. Then comes Shuddha Advaitavada. Then comes Dvaita Advaitavada. And then comes Dvaitavada. See that spectrum? So all this thing that you're learning here, you need to keep in that mind. It's a journey. It's a philosophical discourse. Passage navigates through various schools, all these things that I just explained to you. Then means of it. What is the means of attaining Brahman? This 3-sentence word you need to remember, okay? The Upanishads illuminate distinct path for realizing Brahman. Bhagavan has not kept any secret. He disclosed everything in Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavad Purana. Nothing is secret. Okay? But if you don't believe in that, then it is going to be secret. So here also Brahman also, Upanishads illuminate distinct path. Realizing Brahman. Brahman itself shows you how to become Brahman realization by different slokas in different Upanishads that we will come across. So essential role of spiritual master, you need a professor. Textbooks are there. You can study like infinity and still you may not understand. You need somebody who has mastered that subject matter and can make you understand that. So here also like that, you need a spiritual master, somebody who's a self-realized soul, and the practice of bhakti. Bhakti Mamajadi, that same principle operates in Brahman realization also. But Mayavadis do not that path, do not take that path. They do Jnana path, okay, and they do this meditation, but they also take Diksha from another Mayavadi. So, blind leading another blind person. Part 1, establish solid foundation for comprehending Brahman as the supreme unchanging reality that underlies all existence. So this everything whenever I give an explanation. Conclusion. If you don't read anything, at least read the conclusion, you'll get the bottom understanding of it. Unchanging real that underlies all existence. It underscores the profound interconnections of all beings with Brahman. Every one of us, living beings, Jivatmans, Jiva, we are connected with the Supreme. We are connected with Brahman. In fact, Mandaka Upanishad says that everything is there, Brahman is everything. And again, the distinction between those who are Mayavadi school, impersonalist viewpoint, and those who are personal viewpoint, like ye devotees, they are actually both understood from each their own perspectives, okay? Philosophical quest to realize this ultimate truth as the pathway to liberation. Emphasis on devotion. Now we are really getting into this part 1. This passage, now we are almost time up, but doesn't matter. So this Gaudiya Vaishnavism, that comes the word, okay? Unity of existence. Brahman presents compelling vision of unity within diversity. See that unity within diversity that you use more often. And the same with transformative nature. I come across many times to show you how the bhakti process can transform from one end to another end for betterment. So Brahman also is like that. So role of the acharyas, you need acharya. You need somebody who Brahman realizes himself can make you understand. Okay, this is the very important key slides. These 5 tattvas that you see, all these 4 Vaishnava schools that we are going to study, 9th January onwards, they all agree. Their internal differences are there. Nonetheless, these 5 tattvas, they all agree. What are these 5 tattvas? The nature of Brahman, the nature of the individual Jivatman. Again, Jivatman means embodied soul. The soul who is accepted or forced to accept material body because he has material desires. Soul itself cannot satisfy the desire unless he gets, because he has material desires. So that's why he needs material body. Okay. So this nature of the individual Jivatmans and relationship Brahman. Okay. and the origin and development of the universe in relation to Brahman. So, right in the beginning slide, I showed you already, right? What is Brahman? What's his nature? What's his characteristics? Swarupa Lakshana, and so on like that. And then came to the second part, Jivatman. What is Jivatman? Jivat means the Jiva has a physical body, and how it can drop this physical body and comes a pure Jiva, part and parcel of Brahman. That is self-realization. He has to learn how to take off this material body. Does not have to come back again and again, take newer bodies. Okay, so that aspect is a third aspect. And the fourth, the means of attaining Brahman. So we learn that we need to understand Brahman. Brahman means it has Paramatma feature. It also has a Bhagavan feature. Okay, I have to remind you time again and again. Mayavadis don't go beyond that. Okay, and then what is the means of that? And ultimately, the same Upanishads come to Bhakti platform. Just like that Patanjali Ashtanga Yoga, it came to that Vishesha Purusha Pranidhana, right? Surrender unto the Vishesha Purusha who is beyond time and space. He leaves no doubt whatsoever when he says Vishesha Purusha is not ordinary Purusha. He is that supreme being. That Bhakti comes also there. Here also ultimately Brahman comes to Bhakti. But Mayavadis again, they don't go beyond Jnana platform. And finally, the nature of the supreme goal of life, the Parama Purushartha. So these five aspects, they're all accepted in different categories of these Vaishnava schools. Okay, there are minor differences are there, but nonetheless they all agree. Okay. Now, very important aspect of it. Okay, what is the three characteristics of Brahman? We already understood what is Brahman, but characteristics by which you can identify, differentiate. So one is called Satyam, second is Jnanam, and third is Anantam. Satyam means signifies the ultimate truth. Now here the word Satyam, Maharaj differentiates. It's very interesting. I never heard it before. First time I heard it, and you guys will be thrilled to understand what is Satyam. Sata Ti Yama. Sat means that which is eternal. Sat Chit Ananda, right? Sat is eternal, immortal. Ti, second syllable in that. Ti means that which is unconscious. Sat means that one which has a consciousness. That means jivas. Right? Ti means prakriti, is unconscious element. All right? And yama, yamatya, that means that which connects conscious being with unconscious being. That is called Satyam, the way Maharaj explains that. So this Brahman aspect ultimately is connects jivas and prakriti. The prakriti, when we talk about this material world as well as this material body is part of that, and three gunas are there. And second aspect is Jnanam. All Upanishads are on a Jnana platform, refers to supreme knowledge. It's not speculative knowledge, but the realized knowledge. Brahman represents the pinnacle of understanding and wisdom it gives. Wisdom, how do you define wisdom? It tells you how exactly you ought to behave yourself. Anantam is eternal. It is infinity. Anta, opposite of anta. Anta means something that is going to end, right? Ananta, it never ends. It's continuous. So Brahman is a boundless and limitless. And this Panchakosha, I'm sure you're all familiar with Panchakosha, right? Begins with the Annamaya Kosh, Pranamaya Kosh, Manomaya Kosh, Vijnanamaya Kosh, and finally is the Anandamaya Kosh. So these Upanishads belong to the final Anandamaya Kosh. which gives bliss. And this teachings is given in this particular Shastra called Brahmavali, Bhriguvali, and so on like that. And the particular Upanishads that are devoted to that, Taittiriya Upanishad and so on like that, okay, that we want. So, by the way, I should share with you, if you want to understand anything in the academic level, something you want to get a reference to that, go to the Wisdom Library. Other aspect is University of Stanford University has a comprehensive encyclopedia of philosophy, and there you see the segment of Hinduism. Okay, so I'm just mentioning this thing. A lot of things I get all this from there. You know? Then a generalized knowledge, if you want, then go to Wikipedia. Generalize, but if you want to dive deeper, then go to the Wisdom Library, Stanford Encyclopedia of Philosophy, and so on like that. Okay, significance of rasa, that you all know what is rasa. Purity of Brahman. Upanishads distinguish temporary material happiness from the pure eternal bliss of Brahman. So again, the jiva has to transcend material happiness to come to Brahman realization. That happiness, that ananda, is at a spiritual level now. So this Vedantic philosophy is useful in that. That Vedanta Sutra that we are going to get in. All these things I'm preparing you to study Vedanta Sutra, and all these things are required, prerequisite knowledge as a part of your preparation. So Brahman as a source, Brahman is portrayed as the origin of all beings, that from which all things are born. Understanding the profound truth that everything emerges from Brahman. Again, as a devotee, keep in mind, Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagavan, all three are interconnected. You cannot separate, all right? But here, this is Upanishad. Upanishad mainly talks about Brahman. So, final conclusion, part 2 profoundly underscores that Brahman is characterized by truth, knowledge, and infinity. Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam. Keep that in mind. Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam. Bliss of Brahman, philosophical significance, intrinsic nature of bliss, that Ananda is further defined. Unity of existence, become many, powerful, underscore and interconnection, all these things that you're going to see that. Purity and perfection, path to liberation, there also will explain, but here we are not paying that much attention to it. It will come in part 2, 3, and so on like that. So this is just introduction. And Adhara Tattva, I'm way over, we went through that. And because we got into that kind of discussion about definition of Jiva and Jivatman and all that kind of support of all beings, role of Brahman in creation. So here, see that here creation, we know how the creation took place, right? Bhagavan himself, Mahavishnu, and as Paramatma enters there, right? In Prakriti when Jiva is included. But here everything is described in terms of Brahman. So Brahman has a different role. Brahman Tattva, Paramatma Tattva, and Bhagavan Tattva, the way I understood it, is they are all interconnected. Bridge to immortality. How do you become liberated? How do you drop off this material body? Then you become Brahman realization. Knowledge is the foundation. So that's why Jnana based. All Upanishads are Jnana based. Okay. Conclusion, elucidate Brahman not only as essential support of all beings, Adhar Tattva. And remember that, Aadhaar card, remember that. What the Aadhaar card does that, right? In India, anything, everything you want, unless you have Aadhaar card, nobody will accept you, right? But the universe, it accentuates Brahman's governing force, which establishes order in creation, while simultaneously functioning as a bridge to immortality, liberation. And now this concept of Antaryami is introduced that inner control of the universe, this Pancha Mahabhuta, that's we are talking about. The sage eloquently illustrates how the self exerts control over the diverse elements of the universe, earth, water, fire, and more. So the Panchabhutas. And that is a part of this our physical body. Upanishads articulate profound truth while the antaryami and the individual self coexist. They are not as one and the same. I told you before, the Jiva Tattva enjoys the fruit of this material world, but the Paramatma Tattva, Antaryami Tattva of the Brahman, is simply watching, sanctioning authorities there. So, Upadrashta, Anumanta, and he's the friend. He advises properly. Divine nature of the inner self. So Upanishad Antaryami as Narayana. So this is now the Bhagavan Tattvas are coming. See that? Gradually you are coming to Bhagavan Tattva. And as we go more progress, you will see the verses clearly tells you Bhagavan Tattva, ultimately coming to that place. The distinction from individual self. So there is a finite difference in Jivatman, embodied material, embodied soul. I think I'm going to keep on using embodied soul. Then Arshina Mataji will agree with me. Right, Arshina Mataji?
Yes, Babu.
And use the word embodied soul. Then there's leave no doubt about it. Because both of us will keep on arguing about it, you know. So embodied soul and Paramatma, they are not one and the same thing, right? Paramatma means is the supreme being. So individual self is influenced. Antaryami advises us what ought to be done, right? If there's a ditch ahead, Antaryami warns you that don't do that. And still, if you're bound to do it, Antaryami will sanction it and do it, but at your own risk and face the consequences. Conclusion, part 4 delves deeply into Brahman as the inner controller of all beings. So repeatedly you see this now so far. Even in the first lesson, you saw Brahman Tattva, you saw Paramatma Tattva, and you saw Bhagavan Tattva also right there. Okay. This is what Brahman as the Ishwar. So now see the Ishwar Tattva is coming. Ishwar is what? Bhagavan, right? See right there. The comprehensive and compelling overview of the fundamental difference between the Vaishnava and Mayavadi notion on Brahman. Vaishnava regard Brahman as a personal dynamic force, Saguna, versus Nirguna. Mayavadis do not go beyond that. So again, I'm telling you, is the difference between how you look at it. They see somebody like difference between administration and administrator, king and his kingdom. Kingdom, there is, when you say kingdom, you cannot separate kingdom from one who is occupying that kingdom, right? But they see only that part, kingdom. Kingdom is impersonal aspect of it, right? The personal aspect, the king behind that kingdom. Energy and energetic. Energy without energy, person who is holding that cannot be, energy cannot exist beyond in on its own independence. There must be a person behind that. Bhagavan, without Sri Radhe, Krishna himself says in Brahma Vaivarta Purana, without Radhe, I'm incomplete. Radhe is my energy. Without that energy, I can do nothing. Krishna himself said in Brahma Vaivarta Purana, there's a verse to that effect. At one point, I was almost made up my mind to do this Brahma Vaivarta Purana, but we never got around. Vaishnava position, Vaishnava affirmed that Brahman encompasses both Saguna and Nirguna. So the Vaishnava understanding is what, right? Both. That the absolute truth is both a person, and the way it's just this impersonal aspect is his energy. So Brahman is the energy of the Supreme Lord, the Brahma Jyoti, the impersonal effulgence that Lord has. And effulgence is the one the Srishti survives. The Surya, the sun, different galaxies is all part of this effulgence. Brother Aradike Upanishad proclaims, so see this, all these Upanishads that we are talking about, they are the critical Upanishads that is from a bhakti point of view. Svetasvatara Upanishads, Isha Upanishad, Brihad Aranyaka Upanishad, Chandogya Upanishad, all these things are very, very purely bhakti oriented. And that Maharaj goes in deeper length and defying the Mayavadi interpretation of the Brahma. They are downright, sometimes they don't explain direct meaning of the Brahma, all the Upanishad. So we are going to systematically go now onwards in the remaining 3 lessons, okay? And then see directly the Mayavadi will counter argue and Vaishnavas will rebut that verse by verse will actually go through that and will be convinced that Brahman is the Paramatma and Purusha. See, that Antaryamic super soul aspect of it is still there. Same Brahman, but there's a Paramatma aspect of it and Bhagavan aspect, and there are verses, there are Upanishads that cleanly says that. I'm telling you that. Same scene, same movie, same music, but Bhagavad is seen from a different angle, devotee sees from a different angle. And see that again, Chandogya Upanishad, Manduka Upanishad, all these things, there are specific verses Maharaj quotes, and we will actually go through all these verses that clearly differentiates different viewpoints and how systematically, based on their own evidence, because they don't accept Puranas, they don't accept Bhagavatam, they accept only Upanishads. The same Upanishads, same verses, Maharaj argues that. That's the very intelligent part of it that I admire. The Surat, okay, oh, this is 5 courses I was telling you about. That you all understood now. So with that, I'm sorry about we always consume all over all entire, but let's see if in the discussion we get something out of it. Haribol. I thought it was worth going through that, right? Today was an introductory class. Yeah.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Yes.
So nice, Prabhuji, so nice. I had some mindset right from, my childhood to understand this one. Yeah, this one, and you are nailing down one by one so nicely. We are not different because where I'm there right now in India also, I'm with a group, ISKCON also goes and participates, Gyanis, what you call
Yeah.
those people, right?
Yeah.
And there also, one thing, I'm not going because I let others also speak. We are talking of Manduka Upanishad, right? That also talks about Brahman aspect of that, because from Brahman, Omkar is coming. Omkar and Brahman, they are related. So Omkar and Upanishad, Manduka Upanishad, right, Prabhuji? Akar, Ukar, Makar. That is what it talks about.
We did the whole course on that, remember?
Exactly. We did on that. And now only my question, how you connect Brahman? Because as we talk about, Srila Prabhupada talks of all pervading aspect. Brahman is an all pervading aspect, right? And then Paramatma we can understand because you go to one person, thumb size, and you can understand person there.
No, but Paramatma
And
is also Sarvavyapi. Paramatma is in every cell, every living entity, in every atom of the universe. Paramatma is there.
Right. So yeah, that is what. And Bhagavan also, and then everybody as a true Paramatma.
So that's the reason I keep telling you, you cannot differentiate Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagavan. All 3 are interconnected.
Okay. So the last question I have, Prabhuji, then we always connect the Brahman with the Mahavishnu for creation purpose, correct? So
And
how you bring...
we also saw same Upanishad talk about the Antaryami Tattva. Same Upanishads.
Yeah.
We saw
Upanishad.
Antaryami
Okay.
Tattva, right? And lastly, we saw the Ishwar Tattva.
Right.
Here we are talking to Upanishads only.
We are talking Upanishad, yes. But yes.
Upanishads themselves, verses are there, and I saw some of the Upanishads, and we'll go actually verse that says like that. Okay.
Okay, Prabhuji. Thank you.
So
Hare Krishna.
it's just the introductory.
Yeah.
What are the subjects to be discussed? What are subjects to be understood? That was my main goal in the first lesson.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you,
So I
Prabhuji.
try to not make it too complex. Okay. Sanjeev Prabhuji, you seem to have some question. Sanjeev Prabhuji.
No question. Am I audible?
Okay, all right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no
yes,
question.
yeah.
It's just
right.
yeah, as you said, it's introductory. So in
Yeah.
summary, it's about
Yeah, so I'm just introducing, and then we'll dive into it.
So Prabhuji,
next
devotee is understood the Brahman Tattva, Paramatma Tattva, and Bhagwan Tattva. All three tattvas known by devotees very well.
Because you cannot separate Brahman Jyoti from the Lord, right?
Yes,
Lord's effulgence, you cannot disregard it. And effulgence is the one, the whole universe is, cosmic universe is maintained. Without sun being there, the sunlight is actually part of this tattva, this effulgence.
in essence, Prabhuji, what you're saying. Oh, sorry, Mataji, you had to say something.
So Bhagavan and his Brahma Jyoti, you cannot disaggregate on that.
In essence, Prabhuji, like what you taught also today is like how Mayavadi philosophy contradict themselves. Like you said,
Yeah, they do.
They say Brahma.
Now the biggest stupidity, they say Brahman can come into the Maya's influence. On one side, there's Brahman is everything, all powerful, but gets bewildered by Maya, and then that Brahman can become Jiva Tattva.
So Prabhuji, I had a different question.
Yeah.
This particular, because I keep the recordings as per the course. So these are now not a part of Shaddarshan. This is now 3 to 4 lectures on this Upanishad, right?
Shaddarshan, we already done that. We are doing Upanishad, and then we'll do that prerequisite course where we'll introduce these two atheistic philosophies, Jainism and Buddhism. Then we come to the Shankaracharya's Keval Advaitavada, and then 4 Vaishnava philosophies. So all these things will get introduced to the Vedanta Sutras, what it is, what's its importance.
So these
and then we'll get to the actual Vedanta Sutra.
Yeah, so these recordings will go under the section, the what is Upanishad topic.
Yeah. They are part and parcel of it. Okay.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Hare
Yes,
Krishna
Samta Mataji. Yeah.
Then Prabhuji, 2 questions. One is the term Antaryami and Antaratma, are they the same?
Antaryami is the one super soul, Antaratma. That's also there are 2 Atmas, right? Jivatma is there, and Parma, both situated in same heart. Right? So to me, that means one is saying Atma, another one is Antaryami or Antaratma. The Antaratma, there are 2 Atmas, right? That's what is Antaratma. It does not differ, but Antaryami is the super soul. So Antaratma can include super soul also. That is what indirectly it means super soul. But it's not clearly said. When you say Antaryami, that's clearly Paramatma.
Yeah. And Prabhuji, this Antaryami, that is the Paramatma, that is the super soul. Next question is, what is the, I mean, yes, we are on Bhakti path and we are following the 4 regulative principles, but what is the fastest and the best way to listen to Paramatma? Because I tend to get clogged up with and get carried away with the material life. So what is because sometimes I'm unable to make the difference, like which is the inner voice.
No, inner voice is the
So what
Bhagwan
is the
himself.
best way to
But
connect to
that,
Paramatma?
no, that's, I'm telling you, until you become Bhagwan, realize Paramatma will keep advising you what's the right, but Bhagwan will not dictate you because we have this free will. In fact, we are going to talk about this free will and the supreme will and one's particular uh, fate, what we call. All things we are going to be talking about when we do 11th canto, But here, what you are saying at what level you are, that depends upon that, okay? Initial level, Paramatma is there. Even if you are not devotee, Paramatma guides. First, it reminds you why it took this material form, okay? Material body. And because we took material body because we had this unfulfilled desire from previous life. That's why we got tailor-made that kind of body that will support fulfilling to these desires, okay? But it may not. In fact, we may create new desires. So antaratma, particularly the super soul, antaryam, that who knows you, okay, will keep reminding you, advise you the best possible way that you satisfy even material desires, okay? But when later you become a devotee by some grace of a self-realized soul sent by the Lord, when you have this Brahma Jigyasa, Atato Brahma Jigyasa is the first Vedanta Sutra. When you actually get that Jigyasa, that curiosity, when you're fed up with this material life, what is the end of it? When can I come free from that? There's the very beginning of coming to spiritual level. So when you actually become spiritual level and actually follow devotional practice, chanting of the Hare Krishna, Sadhu Sangha, read Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, then Krishna will send a person, right person, okay? And when you actually follow the principles, instructions of your guru, then you're full-fledged devotee. But yes, you are still on a sadhana stage, okay? But even at sadhana stage, the particular verse says what? Tesham satata yuktanam bhajatam priti purvakam dadami buddhi yogam dam. Then that same super soul is replaced by Bhagwan himself, okay? And Bhagwan guides you then. And Bhagwan guides you. How can you tell that? Because that Bhagwan Tattva has this internal potency. Three forms of that. Sandhini Shakti, Samavit Shakti, and Ladini Shakti. The Sandhini Shakti means once you begin on bhakti process, it will keep on going further. It's not going to stop. Okay? That and then Bhagwan himself will guide you exactly how to come towards, how to make progress bhakti path. That is the Samavit Shakti, cognition. And then Ladini Shakti, everything you do on the bhakti platform, it's Sukham Kartuda, means very joyfully perform. You never feel tired, it's not a chore. I told you that example, right? 16 to 18 hours I worked non-stop, okay? And I didn't feel becoming hungry or anything like that. I'm telling personal experience, okay? Nothing happened to me. And I finished those lessons at a rapid rate. All these lessons I'm doing that. So that is the part that Bhagavan himself is helping you from within. He literally seems to be dictating to me how to write, how to prepare these PowerPoints. These ideas, creative ideas that's come from within. But within is not just super soul, it's the Bhagavan aspect of it. Am I answering you, Samantha?
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Listen to your inner, they say always listen to your inner voice, even if you're not advanced enough. But once you start on sadhana bhakti, Bhagwan himself is going to guide you as and to the degree you are making progress. Okay, he's always there, helping hand, but you need to do your part, just as I'm trying to do my part. Okay, Bhagwan may be dictating to me, but I have to hold the pen so that Bhagwan can guide my
Yes.
hand, my fingers, right? And put the right word on my keyboard.
Yes, Prabhuji.
So that you need to do your part.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
So you're always there, you're not alone anymore on this path. Since the very day you became a devotee, you're always there. He's guiding you all the time. But his guidance will come in a proportional manner. How much you are following his instructions. And he sent his Pratinidhi, the spiritual master, and the other sadhus, sadhu sangha, that will keep you all the time. Even if you sometimes get slipped away from the main path, he will again put you back, drive you back on the main path. So you don't digress. All right, okay, I think time is crossed now. Sarproji, you have final word.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Sorry
Time
about
is
that.
not there.
Sorry about that. So
I'll
we were
just
digressed in the beginning, right? But it was worth.
I'll just take 2-3 minutes only the essence of it. Like we are talking of the Vedas, all these Vedas, each of these Vedas, they have 4 sections: the Samhitas, Brahmanas, Aranyakas, and Upanishads. Now the Samhitas and Brahmanas, they are the Karmakanda segment of the Vedas. And Aranyaka and the Upanishads, they are the Jnanakanda portion of the Vedas. Now, each one of them will not discuss, but here in the class, we came to this confusion of Mayavadis versus the, the devotees. Why this has come up? Now, when we start from Buddha, then Adi Shankara, things will be understood. Lord Buddha, he was an incarnation of the Supreme Lord, but why he taught that? That will be learning in
There's
that.
a reason behind that.
Yes.
And I explained you in my PowerPoints, right? I shared with you.
Yes, Prabhu.
Everything is very systematically explained that.
Yes.
And each of them, none of them were wrong, okay? Buddha is not wrong too. That time animal sacrifice was going on. That is sanctioned by Veda. That is the reason why I discarded Vedic authority, okay? And then is Brahmavada, Buddhi so progressed so much, completely rejected Vedic authority, and that's why Sankaracharya came into platform. Okay, and that's why he introduced Mayavadi philosophy. His main purpose was to defeat this Buddhi, Gautam Buddha, Buddhism in India, and he ultimately succeeded, drive the Buddhism out of India. Okay, and then comes all the Vaishnavas, because the negative aspects of it that he gave, but Adi Shankaracharya himself, in the later in his life, he composed that poem, right? Bhaja Govindam, Bhaja Govindam. Okay, that clearly says that he was a great devotee of the spirit, and that also I explained in my PowerPoints. If you'll see that. So
Yes.
that lesson, I think you are going to be.
Yes, I'm taking both the lessons.
Yes. Okay.
Right.
So that aspect you make it very clear that they are there in that particular point in time. They were doing what they were doing. Okay.
Yes, and Adi Shankara, we should not take him to be a Mayavadi, because most of the things, confusion, they have been created after him, because his disciples didn't understand.
Actually, his followers later on twisted things around.
So all these things in very great detail will be studying, then the things will be very clear why this confusion is there and why such great people, they created all these confusions in us. And those things we will learn. Time is up, Prabhuji, we can talk.
We can conclude this. We'll continue tomorrow. Okay.
Yes.
Who is going to do? Sharathpraji, you name the person. Samita Mataji, you can do that.
Yes, Prabhuji, I'll do it. Hare Krishna. Dandavat Pranam, Prabhuji. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Namaste Narasimhaya. Namaste Narasimhaya. प्रलादलाददायिने प्रलादलाददायिने हिरण्यकशिपूर्वक्षः हिरण्यकशिपूर्वक्षः शीलटङ्कानखालाये इतो नरसिंह परतो नरसिंह इतो नरसिंह परतो नरसिंह यतो यतो यामि ततो नरसिंह यतो यतो यामि ततो नरसिंह पाहि नरसिंह हृदये नरसिंह पाहि नरसिंह हृदये नरसिंह नरसिंहमदिं शरणं प्रपद्ये नरसिंहमदिं शरणं प्रपद्ये तव करकमलवरे नख अद्भुतशृङ्गं दलितहिरण्यकशिपु तनुभृङ्गं केशवधृता नरहरिरूपा जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे तव करकमलवरे नखम् अद्भुतशृङ्गं दलितहिरण्यकशिपु तनुभृङ्गं केशवधृता नरहरिरूपा जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे जय नरसिंहदेव 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 जय नरसिंहदेव जय प्रहलाद महाराज प्रहलाद महाराज प्रहलाद महाराज जय प्रहलाद महाराज निताय गौर हरि बोल हरि बोल निताय गौर हरि बोल जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 जय जय प्रभुपाद हरे कृष्ण ओवर टू प्रभु जी हरे कृष्ण
Thank you very much. Hare Krishna, Krishna
Krishna
Krishna, Hare
Krishna
Hare,
Hare Hare
Hare Ram,
Hare
Hare
Ram
Ram,
Hare
Ram
Ram
Ram. Jai Jai Shri.
Thank
So our strength comes in chanting this Maha Mantra. Okay. Hari Bol. So I'll see you tomorrow, right? Hari Bol.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Hare
थैंक यू चंदू भाई, थैंक यू।
और प्रभु जी दंडवत प्रणाम माता
Dhanwad
जी
pranam.
हरे
जी दंडवत प्रणाम।
Hare Krishna, Sadhu Prabhuji, Sanjeev Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. Thank you very much, Prabhu. Hari Bol.